As we approach the end of our Great Heart of Arabia expedition, in which we would have spent around 28 days, I think, between the two legs, I'm now taking a few minutes to reflect on this time and just think of what it meant to me on a personal level. So I don't think I could have asked for a better way to know my grandfather than being part of this expedition. Not only did it provide me with time with Mark, talking about him during our morning walks, or reading parts of his book over dinner, or with Alan, who would show me the Philby route on the map and then explain if we're following the same route or diverting a little and why we would be doing that, or with Anna, who would capture the special sites that my grandfather visited with her highly skilled eye. In addition to all of that, I got to actually walk on his footsteps, face some of the challenges he went through with his companions, although our experience was probably at a smaller extent of the harshness, I would think. I know nowadays we are blessed with luxuries that make even the most basic expeditions easier than they were 100 years ago, when travelers and explorers truly wandered into the unknown and had to deal with every day and night and the challenges they carried as they came. Thinking of the first leg back in November, I think my grandfather's presence showed very much in the memories of the locals that we spoke with and certain specific sites that we visited. And this second leg, however, I think I was able to sense his presence in the challenges and the harshness that we faced, which he must have faced at a much greater extent. So I think of the harsh, cold days we had, the windy days we had, when the wind was blowing sand all over us, into our eyes, stinging us as we crossed some of the dunes, shaking our tents at night, well, those of us who had tents anyway. Thinking of the messiness of the rain that we had to deal with, waking up to heavy dew on our tents and everything that made it really difficult to pack things and just a bit too messy. Extreme cold that I felt in my bones. All of these things were things that we had to face while we were very prepared with our down jackets, with our rain jackets, farwa, scarves, windbreakers. And I'm not certain what my grandfather and his companions had back then, but I think I can confidently say that we are a little more prepared than they were, and they must have had more difficult times. And that took me to a whole other level of admiration and respect to his character and the travels that he did and everything that he's done. Just took it to a much, much higher level. There's also the mind challenges that I thought about and what he and his companions were going through. So passing some of the parts for them was truly passing unknown lands. They weren't even sure of who occupied these lands or if they were friends or enemies, and they had to be in high alert while passing in some of these parts, and they didn't know what they were facing, or what they would encounter, or how that encounter will end. And that's a major challenge that Mark and I didn't think of. None of us in the team would think of at all in this expedition. And I can confidently say that I think the only thing we worried about when we encountered anyone was how we would not offend them if we had to turn down their generous invite for tea or coffee, because we had to keep going to keep up with our schedule. Also, which is the icing on the cake, I guess, that resulted from this expedition on a very personal level was, of course, bringing the two sides of the family in the UK and Saudi together. Something I think I can speak for everyone, on everyone's behalf, when I say that we all owe it to Mark and will forever be grateful for it. For us to be gathered around the dinner table, remembering Grandpa and sharing stories between the grandchildren and the children and the great-grandchildren was just one of the most amazing feelings that we will all cherish forever. And Yeah, I think that's my short reflection while I'm still here. And I'm sure I'll go into deeper thoughts when I'm back. But for now, I'm sitting in this wadi around Taif where we're camping for the night. But we have unpleasant visitors of mosquitoes that are biting me. So I'm gonna go back to the team and enjoy one more night under the stars before we make our way on the last few days that we have on this expedition.